What's up, friendos? It's the CODphilosopher bringing y'all another gameplay commentary. This is going to be the first in my series called U 2.0. A little background on the gameplay. It's a Groundwar Domination on Overflow that the first half I end up not doing so well, but the second half I get my score streaks going and manage to make a pretty significant comeback and get the W. So I think y'all enjoy the background gameplay. But enough of that. I'd like to say that this video is on the topic of learning. I think that there are two areas that encompass the purpose of life. I know that's a crazy question to think about, but I think it's two L's that make it up. The first one is learning, and the second one is love. But we'll probably get to love in a later gameplay, but let's talk about the former first. Webster's has three different definitions for learning. The first one I'm not going to even talk about because it uses a root word in the definition, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But the second definition it gives is knowledge or skill acquired by instruction or study. And the third is modification of behavioral tendency by experience. And I think that these two definitions give a great understanding of what exactly learning is. I think that learning is the foundation of becoming the best possible version of yourself, and that's something that if you're familiar with Woody's gamer tag, he uses that quite a bit in his videos, and it's also the foundation of U 2.0, this video series. I think it's a thirst for knowledge that makes great minds great. If you look at every philosopher, scientist, and mathematician that has accomplished a lot in their life, one thing that they all have in common is a thirst for knowledge, especially in their field of study. You're first introduced to learning by your parents, and then I'd say that schooling is your next big introduction to learning. Now, I don't necessarily think that schooling is the best for instilling a thirst for knowledge, and a lot of this I'm speaking on personal experience and dealing with the American schooling. I think that there are some other countries that do a better job of instilling a thirst for knowledge than America does, but in general I don't think that schooling instills a great thirst for knowledge. Although sometimes I think that it comes later to people. I know that it definitely came a lot later to myself than, for example, my younger brother. He's 18 months younger than me, and from early on he had a great ambition in school, and it ended up paying off for him. He studied at Harvard and graduated from there. To go on and work in Denmark for a while, and now he's working in Washington, D.C., and probably fixing to go on to grad school to work on a master's doctorate program. Me personally, I didn't really get a great thirst for learning in school until later in my college career. I started off my first semester, I got a 1.28. What I really learned about in my first semester was how to inebriate myself and stay inebriated. So while it was a whole bunch of fun, it wasn't very constructive. My parents said that I had to come on back home, and so I did, and I found a new direction in what I wanted to do in my college career, and it started to pay off later. My last two semesters, I got 3.5s for both of them. So I definitely made an improvement throughout my college career. I find that everyone along the way in their schooling finds a few great teachers, and these are the people that do the best job of instilling a thirst for knowledge and a yearning to learn. In fact, I had a philosophy professor. It was a business ethics class that I enjoyed so much. I ended up getting a tattoo on my back. It is the only ink that I have. It's Ancora Impero. It's an Italian phrase, I guess, that Michelangelo wrote in his sketchbook next to Father Time in a child's carriage. And translated, it means, "Yet I still learn." And it's something that I guess found important enough to myself that I decided to get it tattooed on my back. One of the things along my way to developing a thirst for knowledge, and something that I feel had a great influence on me and probably still does, is StumbleUpon. It's an internet application that you can add to your browser, and I'm definitely going to include a link in the description to its website. But what you do is you set up a basis of interest, and it brings you to random websites every time you push the stumble button on your browser that fall underneath the guidelines of your interest. And so you can find things that you really enjoy and you want to read and learn more about. And I think that it's great to learn by following your interests, because if you can't find things that you are interested in, the likelihood of you learning is greatly decreased. Now, I mean, like my brother, there are some people that can find interest in any material that is put in front of them, but me personally, I have certain things that I'm interested in that I like to develop knowledge on that you're not going to see in school, in any classroom. One thing that I have a great thirst for knowledge on is Call of Duty, and it's been that way since Modern Warfare 2 came out, really, and I started playing a lot of Call of Duty. There are several YouTube commentators that I've spent a lot of time watching their videos and trying to learn from them. There's a lot of people out there that really, really know what they're doing and do a great job of spreading their knowledge onto people. It's something that I very much enjoy learning about, and now I'm enjoying, trying to, give my own knowledge back to a community of viewers that I've been a part of for a while. Some of the commentators, like I mentioned earlier, Woody's Gamertag, I kind of see him as, like the Father Time, or the old wise grandpa of Call of Duty commentating, and he's a very respected person in my eyes. There's also guys like T. Martin who, they have tips and tricks, and they gear a lot of videos specifically towards helping someone develop their own gameplay and becoming better Call of Duty players. So those are two guys that I definitely recommend watching. Drifter is another one of those guys. He's very technical, and I find it personally entertaining to try to understand the ins and outs and specifics of weapons and how they work in the game and all that kind of stuff. So those three, Woody, T. Martin, and Drifter, are all guys that I highly recommend. If you're not watching their videos or subscribe to them, go ahead and check those out, and I think they'll help you out in making decisions whenever you play. Other guys that I like to watch, and these three fit under the category of professional Call of Duty players that also do YouTube commentaries. There's guys like 4Play, who used to be 4Play Envy, but now he started his own team, or started another team really, called Caliber Gaming, and I really wish those guys well. I hope if I had to pick one team that I really want to win the $1 million tournament that's coming up, I really have to say it's those guys, and a lot of it has to do with 4Play. I've actually played against him in a couple games, and there's also Optic Scumpy, who I think is probably one of the best Call of Duty players to ever live. He has a lot of entertaining gameplay, and I like to watch him in order to emulate and try to make my gameplay better. And to wrap this video up, I'd like to say